Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of Blackbird's Brew, and welcome to Journey Through the Tarot. This week we are looking at the Ace of Wands, as you can see. This comes from the Housewives Tarot by Paul Keppel and Jude Buffum. So, first impressions. First, we have to acknowledge that we are being welcomed to the first card of the suit of Wands. There's just a couple of things to keep in mind before we proceed, and this is something to bear in mind anytime Wands cards come up in the spread. The suit of Wands is aligned with the element of fire. Now, some decks will associate the air element with Wands, but in most of the decks I own, I would say about 90% of them, Wands is always correlated with fire. So think projective, active energy, being goal-focused, having the drive to get things done, having that spark of transformation and burning away distractions. So in this deck, the Ace of Wands is represented by a feather duster, a tool that no hearthkeeper should be without. It communicates to me that this card is about usefulness and performing useful work, and not being afraid to get your hands dirty if that's what the situation calls for. It isn't about allowing something to come to you passively and just absorbing whatever the universe allows to drift your way. No, it's about getting up, being actively productive, and taking it upon yourself to do what needs to be done. So if we look at what our booklet has to say, it brings out three key words: energy, projects, and adventure. All of this sounds pretty good to me. The description goes on to say, behold, a new spark of energy to begin your next project. You hold the power to dust away the old and start anew. When the Ace of Wands appears in a reading, it speaks of new ventures or journeys. Or it suggests that it's time to do a little spring cleaning. Grab that pledge and get to work. So a pretty uplifting card on the whole, I would have to say. So when it comes up in a reading, first possibility to consider is that this is not the time to be resting on your laurels. It's time to begin something. The Ace of Wands can be considered a little bit of a nag to spring into action and to refrain from making excuses and setting aside distractions. So this is something that you or your aquariant has been struggling with a little bit. The Ace of Wands is sending you that clear message of this is not the time for that mode of being. You need to move beyond it. Second possibility to consider is that perhaps you need more inspiration, or maybe you need more motivation to break out of a rut. Try to be more proactive. If you're feeling blocked or stifled by a routine that no longer serves a purpose, seek out what's new. Seek out what's different. Look for something that lights your fire and then go with it. You're going to need to have a little bit of disruption. Things are going to have to be noticeably different, not just intellectually different, but they have to feel different, and you need to be doing different things in order to break free and go on to other stuff, into the next chapter. Then for a third possibility, I would say that this card could be an invitation. Maybe it's time for you to go on a journey of some kind, literal or figurative. And are you embracing the prospect, or are you nervous about it? Do you think you're being called to the next chapter of your life, or are you concerned that this is a temptation, something that ultimately is only going to take you so far and will leave you in not a very good situation? So examine the surrounding cards for further insight if you have any doubts on that score, and just think it through. Maybe your hesitancy is simply because you're afraid of taking a risk, and maybe the Ace of Wands is saying, well, you're not going to get through life without ever taking a risk. You're just going to have to deal with it. Be open-minded, be aware of your own natural inclinations, and make the best determination you can when you're interpreting this particular card. So that's what I have to say about the Ace of Wands. Next week, we'll of course be looking at the Two of Wands, and we'll be working our way through this suit. So let me know, what do you think of this particular card, either in the comments below, or you could come see us on Discord at Blackbird's Brew on Discord. There's a link to join in the description box below, along with where you can find all of where my content appears on the rest of social media, in case you want to check me out on some alternate platforms, just in case YouTube gets cranky with me and decides that I'm no longer necessary for their platform's happiness. So, word to the wise, it's always good to follow your people whose content you enjoy on more than one platform, if that is available to you. But I think that's it for now, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!